Coming up today on This Is True Really News, Stock Night.
Like moo?
No. That's where closing shift employees stay late and restock the shelves.
Oh, I didn't like those nights.
No. So the second story will be a story about Stock Night. The first story is a mystery story to just kind of drag.
It's about nature.
It's about nature.
Yeah.
And how it can go wrong. Right?
He's dead, right?
This time, it's personal.
Just once I wanted him to say, and this time, no one cares.
But once before he dies.
Just once. And he never did.
No, what did
he may have it. Maybe in his...
Oh, yeah, maybe in his personal
away
reel.
that he gave. Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Love to hear the personal reel. Mostly I'd love to hear the outtakes with that voice.
That's like the guy doing the Winnebago
Don
Drysdale.
No, what was his name? Don LaFontaine.
Yes. Don LaFontaine.
He was one of my James Earl Jones and Mel Blanc were one of my favorite voices. Of which Mel did most of them.
Well, he had that split personality problem.
If you watch an old Warner Brothers cartoon, you look at all the voice actor.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he was it.
There's right the picture of Mel. Yeah.
I still want that print, but I've been hinting for how many years now?
I'm not giving it to you. My wife gave it to me.
Not you. I've been hinting to my family. It never shows up. Not at birthdays, not at Christmas, bar mitzvahs.
What a bunch of
Not when we celebrate someone's period ever. It just doesn't show up.
Can you imagine?
I can't.
Missy has a period.
Tease.
Everybody get a cake.
Hurry. Chop, chop. Tell them to like, subscribe, and follow us so we can get on with this.
Like, subscribe, and follow us so we can get along with this. And if you like, or if you find a story you'd like us to have, send it to TITR@netradio.network.
And take the safety off of the story because we're not that bright.
Yeah.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
So in Derbyshire, is it Derbyshire or Derbyshire? I think it'd be Derbyshire.
Derbyshire.
Because they're Derby girls, right? And it's Derby.
Yeah, I think it's Derbyshire.
So it'd be Kentucky
could be
Derby.
Corrected. Yeah.
With Burby and Ken. In Derbyshire, England, Phil and Jane Carter, who I believe were Peggy Carter's relatives. Captain America.
I was going to say, isn't that Captain America?
Okay, I had to mention it because you didn't. I mentioned that for one reason only, because Haley Atwell and my brand new grandson celebrated birthday April 5th. Thank you.
Oh, and congratulations, Grandpapa.
Thank you. That was a stretch.
He's a cute little bugger.
He really is. And
what
I
happened?
hardly wait to hold him.
Are you sure he belongs to your family?
When they have genetically superior DNA to work with.
You mean like the girl from North Dakota?
And that. I don't know, man. She does nice work on sons, is all I can tell you.
Yeah, she does.
And grandsons. So
that picture of Finn was just a hoot. I went, holy cow, he's big.
Yeah, that's the trouble with kids.
Yeah, they grow.
Growing. Where was I now? Derbyshire, England, Phil and Jane Carter are used to seeing foxes on the lawn.
Oh, baby. Are they in those chargeable bikinis?
No, they're the four-legged kind with the tail. They hunt them.
I'm somehow less interested now.
Yeah, I knew you would be. However, the Telegraph reports that in December, a visitor to their garden caught their attention. Jane spotted a fox nosing about their turf, looking for something to eat while balancing on its front legs. Because those were the only legs it had.
Is it one of those rare Walenda foxes?
Sure. She yelled at her husband, Bill, you gotta come see this. Because, yes, she grew up in Brooklyn. Bill said it was fascinating. It stood bolt upright and ran like a human being on two legs. He, meanwhile, got in touch with experts at the Derbyshire Nature Reserve, who told him the fox was likely born with a disability.
Okay.
And simply learned how to survive.
There we go.
While foxes are usually shy, the special animal hung out in the backyard for about 45 minutes before it took off like a rocket. I suppose they figured, listen, you got enough time here for a photo op and then I'm gone.
That's it.
And he was.
I'm going to charge you 2 chickens and an egg.
I would like to see that.
There we go. So once a week, We would have stock night, where closing shift employees would stay late and restock the shelves.
Those were the ugliest nights ever. They were kind of like hacks. Remember when they took inventory? Inventory, and it was bad.
Yes. During this time, most employees would listen to music while they worked. My friend's headphones broke.
Uh-oh.
So he grabbed a new set off the shelf and tossed it back in his locker when he finished his shift.
Uh-oh.
Hang on. It was in his locker.
Yeah.
Next morning, he grabbed the headphones and paid for them before tossing them back in his locker.
Okay.
Later that day, one of the supervisors told the store manager about it, leaving out the details that he had left the headphones in the store overnight and paid for them the following morning.
Left out that little detail, did he?
Store manager called the police and arrested him on the spot for theft. It went to court and was thrown out pretty quickly, since the headphones had never left the store and there was no company policy against employees using products while working.
I have a question.
Yes, go right ahead.
How big do you suppose the lawsuit will be?
Well, the countersuit was settled out of court.
Did they tell us how much, or was that made secret?
I can give you an idea.
Okay.
Company ended up paying for his college degree and offered him his job back, which he politely declined.
Well, why? Why would you squeal on the kid and leave out the important parts?
Right.
Which proved nothing.
Right.
Why, before it goes to court, would the company not make sure they had all their, if you will, pigeons in a loop? It's like ducks in a row, only more Minnesota-y. Why wouldn't you do that? Why?
Because
Tell me why.
Because they're stupid.
Oh. See, there's always a simple explanation.
I think what's going to happen with these managers is they're going to be sent sooner or later either to the State House or Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Or, Appalachia. Ashley Lynn is... I just can't... Ashley Lynn, mother of a 9-month-old baby, took to social media after her child was gifted a toy remote control, according to New York Post. Lynn said the baby loved the toy and was going to town chewing on that rascal. Because that's what, 9-month-olds do. Everything in the mouth. Well, then she noticed that when certain buttons were pressed, it made rather inappropriate comments. One was about a drive-by shooting. Another, a sexually charged joke about priests. As you may have guessed, Lynn was a little, like, what? So Walmart explained this. So, Lindsay Toys.
Keep it quiet. Everybody will want one.
Lindsay Toys explains it like this. They said the toy would no longer be sold.
Uh-huh.
Walmart said the toy was sold by a third-party seller and has been removed for not complying with its prohibited products policy. Which leaves only one question not answered. The one the mom asked. What? Why?
How? I have an idea how.
Although, can you imagine how you could sell those at around colleges?
Oh yeah, it's a manufacturing flaw.
Do they still have head shops, as we used to call them?
Well, now they're called dispensaries.
Yeah, put a few of those on the sidewall, and I bet they right next to the Mellomars display.
Do you remember the insultinator we had back at Net Radio, where you'd have 4 buttons and it would come up with these creative insults?
And now you can find lots of versions of those.
Yep.
On the interweb.
Yep. And Pete Stevens came up with "You're a totally bonehead if you skipped the third button."
Yep.
You could get "You're a totally bonehead" coming out of it, and I liked that. I am a totally bonehead. It was on a rainy Saturday when I was going to the dump. Up ahead, I see all those police cars and road flares. Turns out one of my buddies, Bobby, who was working for the company, was also going to the dump. Lost his brakes going down a hill. He hit the intersection just as the light turned red for him. So he entered the intersection with his garbage truck going about, 50 miles per hour.
That's pretty quick for a rather big vehicle.
He plowed through 8 cars before coming to rest on top of a relatively new Toyota.
I thought he would have gone more. I thought he'd have taken a few more.
Fortunately, the guy driving the Toyota didn't even have a scratch. His seat back broke, and he lay flat in his seat with the front wheel of the truck inches from his face.
Dude.
Right? You call that a miracle no matter what. Here's the second miracle. The guy didn't sue.
Really?
The 8 cars Bobby hit didn't sue. But one lady, let's call her Karen, who witnessed the accident, sued both the company and Bobby personally, claiming she was so traumatized by the event that it affected her romantic life.
I have questions. How? Why? What?
She claimed all she saw was a big garbage truck when she and her husband tried to be intimate. Well, scrape all that paint off him.
Don't lose a few pounds.
Yeah, right?
Didn't have banana peels hanging off you anyway.
And the judge threw out the case, told her she was ridiculous. This woman needs professional help.
Which I think is the point of the whole story.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.